HeroQuest is the best game ever made, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Hi, I'm BJ, and this is the Arcane Alienist Podcast. That was the bard that you heard at the beginning of the episode, not William Shakespeare. This is a YouTuber. The channel is called Bardic Broadcast. He refers to himself as the Bard online. He's got some great videos. They're always interesting and oftentimes fairly humorous. I believe he's from Australia. But, of course, his most famous video is called Why HeroQuest is So Great. It's also known as the best thing about HeroQuest video. It's extremely funny. I've watched it, I don't know how many times in the last 2016, so about 5 years that it's been out, a little over 5 years, 5.5 years. Sometimes I'll just go watch it when I'm bored because it's just so funny. Or the thought crosses my mind and I take 6 minutes to watch it because it's a great video. So go check that out. I'll put a link to that in the show description. So what I've got is we'll start with my initial unboxing of just the box it was shipped in, and then we'll have a second segment where we go into more detail about the contents, where I'll be joined by some friends. So let's start with this first segment where I just took the thing out of the box it was shipped in. Okay, there's really no surprise as to what this box is. On the upper end, it's got a black, header all the way across, and then on each side it has the Hasbro logo and says toys. And then also on each side of the box, it says games, and there's some kind of serial or product number. One piece is HeroQuest Mythic Avalon Hill. So I guess they're producing HeroQuest under the Avalon Hill. It's Hasbro, but they're using the Avalon Hill name or brand to publish HeroQuest under. But even if the box didn't say what it was, I mean, it's got a FedEx label, and it says from Hasbro on the label. Also, I got an email alert when it shipped. I got an email alert when FedEx put it in a route. So there was no surprise when I showed up after work and this was here. So I'm going to do a Jason Connerly style unboxing just to put a smile on Jason's face. This box is 16 3/4 long by 10.5 wide by just shy. It's about 13 3/4, maybe just a hair past tall. Just a standard brown cardboard box, other than the print that I just described on it. Let me open it with the sealed with packing tape. I just got a pair of scissors I'm going to open it with. I don't have a fancy dedicated unboxing knife or anything like that. But I'm pretty adept at opening these kind of packages with a pair of scissors without damaging anything inside. Besides, is it really HeroQuest if it can be damaged by a mere mortal pair of kitchen scissors? I don't know. All right, there we go. Open the box, and we got another box. More brown cardboard. Like a box in a box, like Russian nesting dolls. Let's open the package from the second box. And it looks like another box. I'll find out that's what it is. Let me see this interior box outside of the shipping box. I'm going to have to turn it up on its side. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's a box within a box. What do I got? I've got the regular HeroQuest box. This is the game system, the core game system. It's not the long flat box of the old edition. This is a thicker. Let's see, what are the dimensions on this box? It is 16 wide, 16 by 12, and then its depth or its height, depending on how you want to call it, is 5¼ inches. It has a new version of the traditional HeroQuest box art. This is not the Les Edwards painting of the frame, but it is a rendition done by, I'll have to look up the actual artist later. So it's more or less the same picture. Well, more or less. One thing you'll note, I mean, you've got the barbarian, you've got the wizard, you got a dwarf. Of course, their style has changed a little bit to probably reflect more of a contemporary style of fantasy artwork. If it's digital, it's good digital because it does look like a painting and not like something assembled in Photoshop from other scraps of art. So it's a very well done digital painting. One thing you'll notice if you look at it is that the elf is a female. And I know, I believe, and we'll see as we get into the actual contents, that they've done male and female versions of most of the miniatures. And so you have the options with the 4 heroes, and then like the zombies and the mummies and the orcs and stuff all come in male and female varieties. But the standard 4 heroes that come with this, I guess if you're going to buy this, not as a backer, but moving forward, if they're going to do more, is the elf is now a female. And then there was I think it was a bonus set of hero figures that we were supposed to get, and we'll see if we got them, that gives you a male elf, but then a female dwarf, a female barbarian, and a female wizard. So, yeah, it's comparing it to, I've got a little screenshot of the original here to compare it to, and it is, yeah, it's pretty much the same characters from the original cover. They have, looks like they've moved. Nope, they're pretty much in the same place. Their poses, the barbarian's pose is more or less the same. The wizard's pose is more or less the same, but the dwarf and elf have slightly different poses, and the elf is up on the staircase behind a couple steps instead of flat on the dungeon floor. But I mean, it's not like you can't Google this and see the difference, or go to the Hasbro Pulse website and see all the content that came with this. So that's one box. We've got our 2 classic expansion sets. Again, the updated artwork that looks similar to the art from it's just a remake, revision of the original box art for Keller's Keep and Return of the Witch Lord, the expansions or quest packs. And these boxes are look like they're about the same size as the original quest packs. They're 9¼ by 7 inches, and then they're 2¼ deep. So, and then finally, we've got this nice looking box. It's black, except that it's got the HeroQuest logo on it and the Barbarian on the front, but it's just the Barbarian and the HeroQuest logo. It's not the rest of any art. And this is the Mythic Contents: 4 hero miniatures, 18 monster miniatures, 6 white combat dice, 14 game cards, 4 character cards, cardboard game tiles, 3 quest books, and heroic contents, which includes 5 miniatures and 4 cards. So this is the stuff that you got on the advanced mythic tier. If you back beyond just the basic board game, you got the 2 quest packs and then the contents of this, which are some additional heroes, some additional monsters, additional dice, and other quests, including, I believe, a dragon. Yeah, the dragon is on the back. The painting of and digital. That's probably is a digital image, but it's a very well done one. Again, it looks like a painting of the dragon on the back, which is one of the stretch goals. And this box is 14 by 10 by 2 inches deep. So I'm going to stop here I just wanted to record the unboxing of the actual boxes because I'm going to come back and I'm going to have a little bit of help as I actually go through the contents. All right, so this next segment is going to be unboxing the actual contents. And what I did is I went down to a local store where a friend of mine works, and we did it there. So you will occasionally, this is me and Dave, who I've mentioned several times in the podcast, as he and I kind of switch off as game masters with our gaming groups. And then he has the Iron Seer website that I frequently mention. He's also responsible for the artwork, the cover art for this podcast that I use. And so we're doing it in this store, and our friend Jerry is there, and he pipes in every now and then, but he's also occasionally has to step away to wait on customers. So you'll hear like the cash register in the background and the ding of the door to the store, but I don't think ever to the point that it disrupts where you can't hear me and Dave talking about the contents. But there are some places where I think maybe we aren't as descriptive as we could have been for what people may be curious to know about some of the content. So I will also intersperse this recording with follow-up comments from me here and there just to expand or clarify what we were talking about. All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to unbox the game. I'm here with Dave Bone,
Greetings, honored masters.
who I have mentioned many times on the podcast. He plays in our games. He runs games that I play in. He is the Iron Seer. Check out his ironseer.com website where he talks about war games, role-playing games, and puts accounts of all our exploits and all the games we play. So, HeroQuest. Here we go. Here's the first box. And that is, you've got a new version of the art from the old one. This isn't the original Les Edwards, but it's more or less somebody else has come along and just done a new version of that same painting.
Yeah, it looks digitally enhanced.
Yeah, I was thinking about it earlier. It's digital, but it's a good digital. You can kind of glance at it and think it's a painting. And I've seen some pretty crappy digital art, and even in professional stuff where you're like, that looks like clip art that people have just put together as a collage or something. So
That's exciting. I know for a fact that it's basically the exact same game that we used to have.
yeah, I want to look in here. I don't think the rules have changed. I think they've just updated kind of the artwork and the models. But
Can't call them Chaos Warriors anymore.
yeah, that's I was starting to get into that when we look at the models. There's a couple things that have changed because of copyright issues.
Look at that on the side too.
Yeah. And do these little pieces of tape that hold the box lid on.
I've been painting some of those older figures here recently.
Mm-hmm.
These are way better.
On the back, we've got a picture of the board. Yeah, the board looks pretty much like the old board. And some of the figures. You got the screen. You got the cards. And, the other thing that's changed is all the furniture and doors and stuff are all plastic molded. They're not, or resin, I guess.
I'll admit, I haven't looked at it at all. I opened it, made sure all my boxes were there, and then
It's a nice snug lid.
put it back in the pile to get to it eventually.
All right, so what do we got here? Taking the lid off. We got a nice little,
These must be our miniatures.
it's a little plastic tray with a cardboard sleeve with all the miniatures. Sweet, so they're not going to be banging around in there. And what I'm referring to there, if it wasn't clear, is in the box, you've got a plastic tray, and it's not hard plastic, but it's molded. It's the size of, at least in the length and width, the size of the game box, and it's a black plastic molded. You know how when you get a miniature in a blister pack, you got the cardboard back and then the bubble or the clamshell that it sits in, but then there'll be a back plastic molding that's sort of molded to the shape of the miniature so it doesn't bounce around inside the clamshell. That's what we're talking about. You see these whenever you buy box sets of miniatures of a figure sometimes where they've got little, they've just got little plastic molding where the things can rest in there and they're not rolling around in the box. That's what we've got for the miniatures. But in it's not just that you've got this, I guess, blister backing. I don't know what you'd call it. But then there's a cardboard sleeve that the tray slides into. And so you've got two of those. One that contains all the monsters and the heroes, and then a second one that contains the dungeon dressing and has a space for the cards and for the pad of character sheets that you do to keep track of heroes from quest to quest. So and then of course the space for the dice as well. So that's what was really cool about that, is then these two trays just sit into the box, and then you can fold up the board and set it on top of them and put the booklets and things don't go in the trays, but they sit snugly either underneath them or on top of them, or between them even, depending on how you put them in there. So I thought that was a nice addition for storing these things. One, it kept them safe in shipping, and two, it's just a good way to store them. And so that's how these things come. You got the gargoyle.
So the gargoyle, which is actually a bloodthirster, but we can't call it that. You couldn't even call it that in the original game, Satanic Panic and whatnot.
Yeah, the gargoyle.
Femir are now these things.
Yeah, the Femir, because we can't use Warhammer stuff. They don't even, this isn't even a resculpt of the Femir. These look more like Kuatoa from D&D.
Yeah.
I'll try to get one of these out of here without breaking it. Yeah. They look like kind of a humanoid piranha.
Deep ones.
Or a deep one. Yeah. So yeah, a little Lovecraftian.
What are the other ones? Lokatha. Yeah.
The local. Yeah. So it's one of those two. Maybe.
Some amalgamation of those.
Yeah. Of course, now they're not Chaos Warriors; they're Dread Warriors.
My favorites.
He's got a version of the horned helmet. He's got a big flanged mace, and kind of a wicked-looking monster, kind of sculpt on his shield. And let's see. So we got 4 Chaos Warriors. We got 3 Abominations, fish people, a gargoyle.
Similar but not exact poses.
Yeah. We got orcs, and as I think I mentioned before, as I thought, we've got 4 orcs, and they're 2 males and 2 females. So we've got some female figures in here.
Hooray, diversity.
Yeah. Same thing with the goblins. 2 of the goblins are male, and 2 of them are female. Pop those out of there. I'm sorry, we have 6 orcs.
Interesting looking goblins. They're kind of spindly.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, they have some design qualities from the Pathfinder stuff.
Kind of, yeah. Of course, the orcs are kind of our modern idea of orcs, like big, bulky brutes, which I guess they always have been in Warhammer. D&D, they started off as kind of actually not very,
They're kind of hunched over in Warhammer.
Yeah.
These guys are standing up straight.
Yeah, these are kind of your modern.
Yeah, I guess there's a little stoop to their shoulders.
Yeah, so you got 2 male orcs, one with a battle axe, one with a great sword, and then a female orc who's got some version of a scimitar or a.
Looks like one of Saruman's choppers.
Yeah, it's probably
Cleaver.
A cleaver or
one of those fancy new ideas of what swords are.
Yeah.
It's really just a big cleaver.
Yeah, I was thinking of what do you call the
Falchion.
Falchion. Yeah. And then you got those 3 sculpts, but there's 2 of each. And then again, you got 3 different goblins, 2 males, 1 female.
That one actually has a cleaver.
This one, has some kind of cleaver. And the other male has a scimitar. And the female's got daggers, a dagger in each hand. Although for a minute I thought it was an arrow because they have kind of a diamond head point on the dagger.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So you're, and then we've got. Oh, here's something else. I may be misspoken. I guess there's another female sculpt of an orc. They're not all grouped together in the tray, so they're kind of spread out. She's got a big two-handed flanged mace or morning star. Yeah. So so in all, I guess you've got 8 orcs and 6 goblins in this tray, and they're green. So they're cast in green resin.
So I guess we're calling the Chaos Sorcerer the Dread Sorcerer?
Yeah, the Chaos Sorcerer is the Dread Sorcerer. The Gargoyle and the Dread Warrior is in gray, as is the Dread Sorcerer. Let's pull him out. Yeah, he's just got he looks kind of like a lich. He's got kind of a skull-like face.
More of a priest vestment.
Yeah. And he's got a big magic staff.
I've got a bunch of 3D prints that are homages to that old Chaos Sorcerer from the box.
Uh-huh.
I'll send some to you. They're really cool. Got kind of a thing for that. It harkens back to the old stuff where, in order to be a powerful sorcerer, you had to be a powerful warrior. This guy's kind of a new idea of what a lich is.
Yeah. So we got 4 skeletons with, just like in the old game, they're armed with scythes. And then we got 2 mummies. The mummies are mummies. And then we got 2 zombies. But the zombies have swords and shields.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're probably just some kind of fallen warrior, I guess. That's kind of cool. The sword and shield are both chipped and look like they're chipped and damaged with age. And then we've got our dice. So we've got our 2 red movement dice.
They're not wooden this time?
They aren't wooden. And then we've got...
They don't have rounded edges either.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 6 of the attack dice with the skull and the chaos symbol, or the bunny rabbit when you turn it upside down.
Yeah, you can actually tell what it is this time.
Yeah. And then I can't remember, what is the hero? This one's like a lion.
Yeah, it's a lion.
On a shield.
It's always a lion. The good guys.
And we got our heroes.
Now these do look more like the original painting. That one does.
The heroes are cast. So the undead are cast in white resin, and then the heroes are cast in red. Biggest difference here is the elf is a female.
I don't want to let it go.
Yeah, so you got the dwarf, everybody's favorite, with a big battle axe. The wizard has his moon-tipped staff. The barbarian, looks like the old pose. It's definitely Conan. And then, the elf in this thing is this. She's got a one-handed sword. Looks like she's also casting a spell. So
there was a story that came out in one of the Warhammer magazines a while back. Described that character, the Conan style guy. Mm-hmm. Back then it used to be fun. So the guy's name was Keanu the Reaver.
Keanu the Reaver.
Yeah. Kept that one for a while.
Okay, so some additional comments there. I wanted to make it clear that just like with, I think in the original box set, you've kind of got some pseudo factions going here that are coated by the color of plastic or resin that the things are molded in. So the heroes are red. The monstrous humanoids, which include the goblins, the orcs, and the abominations, are green. The undead are white, and then the what used to be the Chaos faction, but now would be the Dread faction, are in gray, and that includes the Dread Sorcerer, the Dread Warriors, and the Gargoyle. And later on, we're going to talk about a dragon that is part of the expansion, and the dragon is also part, I guess, in gray. So just for that. Also, stupid me forgot that the shield with the lion on it on the attack dice, you got a skull. Whenever the hero rolls, they roll the attack dice, and every time they roll a skull, that's a hit. But then the monster rolls to defend, and if the little chaos symbol comes up, that means that's their shield. They've deflected a hit. Versus when the monsters roll to attack, again, a skull is a hit, but that shield with the lion on it, when a hero rolls that means that the hero has defended and negated a hit. So, yeah, just that's classic HeroQuest rules. Nothing new about that. But we don't talk a lot about the tiles coming up. We just kind of mention them in passing. But what they did include in some of those tiles are little skull tiles. So when you have the stronger monsters that take more than one hit to kill, you can use those as counters for how many hits they've taken if you don't kill them on the first blow. So that's a handy little thing that you just kind of had to keep on a scratch of paper in the previous game. So it's a nice little addition. So a little modern. There's some tiles and tokens in there that are have a little more modern sensibility. The other thing I don't think we mentioned is that in the original HeroQuest, the cards that describe each character are a square cardboard. They're not like a playing card. And what they've changed those to in this version of HeroQuest is it's a card that's the same size as the cards for treasure and artifacts and equipment and things and spells, so that you basically it just sits with your other cards that describe your character and their possessions, and it's smaller, doesn't take up as much room. So that's what that is there. Okay, back to the contents. Put these back in real quick, and we'll grip. There look like there's 2 or 3 trays in here, so let's see what else we got.
One of them's got to be the board, all the tiles and such.
Where did this come from?
Yeah, I'll have to transfer these to an actual case.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where they all came from now.
You can label them.
Oh, the goblins.
Y'all can edit this out, but man, they're all bigger. The dice are bigger. The box is bigger. It's not as long.
Well, how do we edit you out, Jimmy?
Well, those are gorgeous, dude. What a nice box. Yeah, that's nice. I like the slide.
Yeah, that'll keep things from.
I mean, if that's all you had, this was the only game
Might
you
take
had.
2 people to put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's all entailed.
It's all one thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
The box isn't flimsy.
It really isn't. It's decent cards.
Kind of like standard though in board games nowadays, though.
Dude, that's so nice. I'm so glad they did this.
All right, what do we got in the second tray? Furniture
Oh, yeah.
and cards and character sheets.
Oh, these character sheets are
So you
almost
got your
exactly
pad
the
of character. This is pretty much.
same. It's twice as big, but they're exactly
Yeah,
the same.
this is exactly the same as the original. The cards are the same. They're probably a little higher quality made cards, but it looks like they're going to be the same. So this is cool. We've got one card for each of the 4 heroes that describes their abilities, and then there's 4 cards that just describe what you can do on your turn as far as move then perform an action, or perform an action then move, how you roll the movement dice, and then the action options you have. Again, it's the same old game. We've got a card for each type of monster.
Higher quality art, bigger depth.
Yeah, it's got newer art, and the cards are better quality, but what you'd expect.
Yeah.
More temporarily, board game quality
I
cards.
mean, think about the tools they had in 87, 88.
Yeah. Treasure cards, and the funny thing is, like on the treasure, I mean, this looks like the original card. It's the same artwork from the old one.
They still own all that stuff.
Yeah, but the back, you got new artwork on the back. You can draw from. There's some artifacts. Borin's armor, the Rod of Telekinesis, Elixir of Life, Fortune's Longsword, Orc's Bane, the Phantom Blade, Ring of Return, Ring of Fortitude, Spell Ring, Spirit Blade, Talisman of Lore, Wand of Magic, a wizard's cloak, and a wizard's staff. So, again, the original stuff. Just therefore, you got equipment cards. I think that's new. To just tell you.
Oh yeah, this
battle
is
axe, bracers, broadsword.
Broadsword.
I'm gonna use my broadsword.
They put this on the top of the box, or the inside of the top of the box, the armory and stuff in the old one.
Yeah, that's right. It was
that.
one of the inserts, I think. Yeah. Chainmail. Yeah, it's just all the different kinds of armor and weapons.
That's actually really
gear.
cool.
Yeah. So you just hand these. You just got a deck of your gear while you're playing the game. Then we've got our 4 water, air, fire, and water wizard spells. Oh, and there's a wandering monster. Oh, that's in the treasure deck. Yeah, treasure deck includes wandering monsters, because that's sometimes what happens when you search for treasure. And then the dread spells that belong to the, they're no longer chaos spells, or of course the dread sorcery spells.
Were there chaos spells in the old one?
They would have them for the chaos sorcerer, or the warlock. He was called the warlock in the.
Nobody ever made it to the warlock.
Yeah. Yeah. So some of them are identical to the wizard spells, and he's got a couple other ones that are more, I think, unique to him. But I noticed when we were playing, I don't think I ever mentioned this before on the podcast, but we set this up in Fantasy Grounds. I had a one night. Remember?
Yeah, we
got a image of the board, and you could put it in Fantasy Grounds, and with the line of sight, you could actually block off the board, and it looked like an actual maze or dungeon. Mm-hmm. You couldn't see around the corners and stuff. And as I was kind of entering this stuff into Fantasy Grounds and the kind of the basic tool set, I was like, you could almost, if you pulled out the cleric-like spells and just gave them to the elf, you could basically just have a thief and a cleric instead of a dwarf and an elf.
Yeah.
If you want to do this more
typical. That was right about
D&D.
the time of the Kickstarter, wasn't it?
Yeah. So and then we've got
much higher quality on all.
Yeah. So you got all the old stuff that you had. Some of these were plastic in the original one, like the door frames, except I think they had cardboard inserts if the door was closed. Mm-hmm. Here it's just printed as part of the door for a closed door. I think all the wood furniture was just cardboard that you kind of folded together and taped or put together with tabs. So again, we've got your bookshelves, torture rack, the weapons rack, tables. You got rats in here?
What am I looking at right here? Okay, that's what those are.
They go on top of
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, these are skulls that you put on the bookshelves.
That's fun.
And then there's
some I put
rats.
together a set of the old ones recently. Had extra rats. I don't think it was one set.
Yeah, so you got all the old. I like this weapons rack. It looks a lot
more detail on everything.
More detailed, yeah.
It's more solid too. I mean, those old cardboard ones, they're cool for what they are, but like here recently in wargaming and stuff, we've had all these advancements in plastics and even resin. I mean, you kind of would expect it to be that awesome. They look cool. The bookshelves have depth to them. That's really cool.
16 door portals and 5 closed doors. Looks like we got 2 bookshelves, unless this is a third one that's just turned around.
No, that's the armoire.
That's the armoire, okay. 3 treasure chests, a fireplace, a sarcophagus, the wizard's table with an open spell book, the torture rack, 2 tables, a throne, weapons rack, the alchemist
table, yeah.
Table, and then we got 4 rats and 3 things. They're little. You got a
skull sprues,
but they've got 4 skulls each, so I guess you have 12 skulls altogether.
So I have a question: are we still Zargon?
Well, maybe we'll get the book and we'll see. Sure.
That was kind of a silly question, but I want to know. Are we talking about Morcar, or that's all GW property, right?
What was the value of this set?
This is $150.
I sold a sealed box of HeroQuest for $350 a few years ago.
Yeah.
Well, that's the original ones are hard to get.
Dude,
yeah,
that's amazing.
I think it was $99.99 for the core.
For the core,
and then the Mythic it was $50 more. And what happened with the Mythic is probably worth a lot more because they kept hitting their stretch goals. You wound up with so much more stuff because of the stretch goals than you would have.
But this size box for $150 is amazing.
This for $150.
Dude, that's amazing.
These are, I don't know what's in there.
half the value.
Those are all the stretch goals. I think.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even look at it. My strategy with these Kickstarter type things is to pledge my money and then forget about it.
So here's the board. I think the board. I add a little bit of detail. So it's mostly the board you remember. There's an edge, a board edge. It's about 3 inches to the. Is that on the old board? I can't remember.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
The old board was just barely this part right here.
Okay, so you got the class. It looks like they've added some pieces of rubble and some little bits of bone, and
Yeah, it's a new piece
some
of
blood
art.
splatters inside the rooms from the old. So sweet. All right.
Somebody 3D printed one of these. Like, that's really cool, but man.
Yeah. People love this game. All right, what do we got in this little packet here? These are bound with some
Traps.
white taper, but you've got your. All right, you've got your punch out tiles for the staircase, the places where you block off
I
hallways.
still use that stairway tile in D&D.
Yeah. And then you got some pit traps and these
Rocks fall traps.
rocks fall traps. Everybody dies. And so those are traps.
So those are new. The grates.
Yeah, the back of some of these stone walls look like grates. There's some
Also stairs straight down.
stairs straight down. So we've got the screen for whoever's running the game, the game master.
And that's exactly as it used to be. Maybe we were smaller.
I had to add a little bit of disruption there for a second. So this is a good time to point out that the tiles are double-sided. But you've got falling block traps, pit traps, spear traps, and then you've got your block squares, just like you did in the old game, and the double block squares. But the flip side of the double block squares look like grate, so I guess you could just use that as an alternative to a wall and just say it's a grate that leads to somewhere else outside of the level of the dungeon or the area that you're questing in at the time. You've got secret door tiles, but the stairs, the classic, it looks like a segment of a spiral stair. If you flip it over, it's straight stairs going up or down. So you have the option of how you want it to look, I guess, aesthetically. I just wanted to mention that about those tiles. So the screen has got the two flaps on the left and right are beveled on the bottom so that when you set the screen back, it leans back a little bit so it's less likely to tip over in the middle of the game, which I think is nice. It's got the chart with all the monster abilities.
Yeah.
It's got the your basic rules. I wish the DM screens for D&D were this useful. Typically, they got all kinds of crap on them. They're like, I don't need that. Where's the falling damage chart? You know.
Yeah, they could do something with the big 4-panel ones where they bevel them on the ends.
Yeah. You got the rule book. Oh, well, also the artwork on the front of the what do you call it? Is it a keeper? Is it the dungeon?
It used to be Zargon.
Yeah, or Mentor or Zargon. Yeah.
Mentor was the guy that sent you on the quest.
But it's a redo of the art. So it's the same characters. They've just redone the art to look like the new sculpts.
It's way darker to give it more
A
depth.
little darker, yeah. We have our rule book.
So yeah, let's find out. Are we Zargon? Who are we?
How Zargon sets up the game.
There you go.
So you are playing against Zargon, the Dread Sorcerer, the Dread Sorcerer now.
All right.
But it's the same. I mean, we've got updated art in here to reflect the box art and the way the cards look, but I mean, it's the same rules.
Look like Ski from Magic the Gathering.
A glimpse into the world of HeroQuest. Welcome, my friends, to the world of HeroQuest. I think that's.
Well, does that mean they're going to do the other ones? You know, we got with this Kickstarter or
Yeah, there were some other quest packs they didn't do here from the old game. So yeah, it's rule book, and then we got the quest book.
start with the trial and then the rescue of Sir Ragnar.
The trial, the rescue of Sir Ragnar, the lair of the Orc Warlord, Prince Magnus's ghost. So this is all the
This is all the original ones.
all the original ones,
That's awesome.
including the blank map to build your own scenario, which, you know, according to the Bard, you put them on. It is the right and privilege of a HeroQuest owner to use this to put a monster in every single square. Let me say right here a little more about the instruction manual and the quest book. The rule book, again, it has Mentor on the cover, who is the wizard who kind of gives you your quests. At the beginning of each scenario, you get a briefing of what your quest is in that particular round of or that particular game of HeroQuest, and you're supposedly given it by this wizard named Mentor, who's he's got a big flowing white beard with braids and, you know, high collared Doctor Strange looking red cloak and robes and this tome of magic and lore that he carries with him, and he's depicted on both the cover of the rule book and on the screen that the person running the game, the scenario, is behind. The back of the rule book has another Mentor along with the four heroes. Mentor is also on the back of the quest book that contains all the scenarios, and of course the cover of the quest book is just the box art, cover box art. These books, and this is true of the rule book, the quest book, and then the quest books that come with the supplements. They're glossy paper, poster style paper. They're kind of digest sized manuals, or zine sized, but they're stitched. So they're not stapled, they're stitched. So that's an extra added bit of quality in all of these that I found really impressive. So again, great artwork, great quality paper. It's stitched for better durability. So good for Hasbro on those.
Yeah.
All right, so we got
The
Keller's
tape is
Keep.
put directly on the box and it's not shrink wrapped. I mean, that's like one thing I complain about.
Yeah.
Production cost, dude.
Yeah.
Under $150 is amazing.
I'm gonna go back and double check that price. I thought it was.
They got
I thought it was more than
box
that.
opened and worn out for $150.
Maybe it was 150 for the base box and more for the
Still,
expand.
Getting the whole set for under $3.
So with Keller's
Keller's
Keep, we have the quest book for Keller's Keep. Includes the Alchemist Shop. There's going to be new items in here, but again, I think they're just they're the same things from the original Keller's Keep, just updated and different. You can arrange the board to be Keller's Keep. You
Nice
got
tiles.
some new tiles. You got an iron door, which figures into those expansions, and another fancy door here.
Fancy door.
And then this came mostly with more orcs, goblins, and abominations. So I got 3 new abominations. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 more orcs. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more orcs and 6 more goblins. So it's pretty much the same of the green skins and abominations in the first box.
Yeah, but that's a lot
it's on the back there.
That's a
I should
lot
look
of
on the
orcs.
back. So, and then you got the cards you represent. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, you got the new equipment that's added in this expansion: a Venom Antidote, Potions of Restoration, Potion of Dexterity, Potion of Battle, Spell Scrolls, Fire Ring.
Did you play much with the old expansions?
I've only ever played through the
neither.
original.
So we just throw those in the deck and leave them, or is it like only?
I guess it's up to whoever's playing Zargon. But yeah, it's got nice box art. Shows
Yeah, production
shows the
values.
dwarf fighting a couple of the gargoyle and a couple of goblins are kind of coming in to flank him. There's some orcs in the background, so it's a nice. There's a picture of Mentor on the back of the quest book.
Is that Mentor or Zargon?
I think it's Mentor. I think Zargon's the red robe guy with the skull face.
Turn the phone on. Turn the phone on. Oh, there's your manual. Did it vacuum seal?
And then Return of the Witch Lord. Did I put my knife back in my pocket or did I lay it down?
Those
There
are
it
for
is.
you if you want to.
Oh, cool, thanks. Little bags. To put things in.
I collect those bags out of every Star Wars expansion I get.
Yeah. I got a whole box of them at home too. I should have brought some with me.
I've been putting bits in them, going through my Frostgrave boxes. There's hundreds of models set out. If I didn't have those little things, I don't know what I'd do. I'd lose a lot of pieces is what I'd do.
Okay, so Return of the Witch Lord. Again, we've got a quest book. I think that's supposed to be Zargon, the Witch Lord, on the back of this book. Because I think this may have been the first expansion, and the idea was you defeat Zargon in the first book, and then in the first game, and then here's Adventure Warrior Returns. You got the cover art, which is on the quest book as well, where the barbarian is in chains and Zargon is sitting on a throne surrounded by undead and his dread warriors. Again, more tiles. Looks like
Those are actually bigger, like
you got
room tiles.
Yeah, you got his throne tile for his throne room here. Some sarcophagi.
You know what I saw yesterday that I really seized on? I haven't been really keeping up with it, but Starfinder?
Mm-hmm.
They came out with tile packs, like the old Wizards ones.
Yep.
So they're in nice little boxes like this.
Cool. And more magic items. Rabbit boots.
Boots of jumping and climbing. Or whatever.
Yeah. Some of these look like they're a repeat from the other expansion, but then you've got
Extra healing potions or whatever.
armband of healing, dust of disappearance, a magical throwing dagger, rabbit boots. Cool.
And this gives you more of all the undead models.
Yeah, this is just a repeat of. You got a stone door and an iron door, and then looks like we've got eight skeletons, 4 zombies, and 4 mummies.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, I think Keller's Keep is more of an expansion about fighting more of the monstrous humanoids, and this one is more about fighting the undead and confronting the Witch Lord again.
Poor guy, always getting confronted out here. Trying to be Lord of the Witches, that's all. The evil Witch Lord awaits your arrival.
You get one of each.
So those are these are going to be offered commercially, yeah?
I hope so. I mean, I don't care. I got mine. I hope so for everybody else. Yeah, so in Keller's Keep, the king is trapped in the forbidding recesses of Keller's Keep. And so you have to go get him and fight through orcs and abominations and goblins. And for the Return of the Witch Lord survived the great battle. So from the first game, from the original box, game. And
So you got to go to his house, I guess?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm interested in, because I like I said, I did not keep up with any of this. I know Terry had been, where's the HeroQuest? Where's the HeroQuest? Every week basically, and I put it out of my mind. Didn't even look at the stretch goals ever.
Oh, you didn't?
I have no idea what's in that box. It showed up on my door, dude. I gave him the money, and then I never heard about it again really, or thought about it until it showed up at the door. That's the best way to go into those. This was Hasbro Pulse, but Kickstarter or whatever, people will agonize over it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look this up real quick. And so, to save you a lot of dead air of me Googling something on my phone, the price on Hasbro Pulse to back this was $99.99 for the core box set. And then for an additional $50, so a total of $149.99, you got the 2 expansions, which included Keller's Keep and the Return of the Witch Lord. Sorry, I'm fumbling with the box to look at. Yeah, Return of the Witch Lord. I think I also have been erroneously equating the Witch Lord, who looks like he's kind of a lich type figure, with Zargon, who's the evil sorcerer, who's kind of behind the whole forces of evil or chaos in this game. They're not the same person. The Witch Lord is just a servant of Zargon. He's part of the undead grouping of enemies. So the $100 got you the core box set, and then another $50 got you the expansions along with the alternate versions of the heroes, the 4 heroes. And then I think if you back at any level, you got all the stretch goals, but which we're about to get into the stretch goal content here in a second. But I wanted to clarify those couple of things when Dave said, "This is what I've been waiting for." He's pointing to the box that's got all the stretch goal content. They made it. They failed one stretch goal, which is this dragon, and then they got so close. Once they went to print, they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna throw in the dragon."
Yeah, might as well.
It was like maybe 15 or 20 bucks for shipping.
That's worth every penny of it.
Yeah. So this is a nice black box. It's only got the Barbarian and the HeroQuest logo. It says we got 4 hero miniatures, 18 monsters, 6 white combat dice, 14 game cards, 4 character cards, cardboard game tiles, 3 quest books, and heroic contents, 5
Wow.
miniatures and 4 cards.
There's
So,
more. There's different heroes.
Yeah, there's a bard, a druid, and something else. I can't
They
remember what
got
it is.
female versions.
So here's some more tiles, which I think probably would only
Room
make
tiles.
sense if we read the... yeah, there's a room tile with some green, slimy
Acid fall.
acid or something. It looks like an entangle, some kind of like an entangle spell, like some kind of thorn vines.
Yeah.
I bet it's like a hazard or something.
Spirit Queen's Torment. Nice.
Yeah, so these quests are the Spirit Queen's Torment. That looks like a banshee of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Whoa.
okay, so this is written by Tia Sabadia. And then you've got The Prophecy of Telor by Stephen Baker. I don't know what this involves.
An elf, it looks like.
It looks like some kind of elf or wizard or something. But the one that the stretch goal they didn't make, but then they decided anyway, is this is The Crypt of Perpetual Darkness by Joe Manganiello.
Yeah, so
You
that's... He probably covered the last bit.
And so... yeah, so that's the one that includes, at least some of the scenarios in here must include the
Very
dragon.
cool.
Okay, so we got
Oh, we got the Witch Lord. I sees him.
we've got put the knife up, and there's one other sealed box in here.
Another box.
This is a little. I think this is the alternate sculpts for all the heroes.
Barb.
Well, here the red ones are the heroes, right?
You have
Yeah,
those
so-
alternates.
So we've got these alternate sculpts for the heroes.
So these are new. These are all new sculpts right here.
Well, yeah, and this has got, of course, if you want to do the classic 4, this is where the male elf is. I think in this box, this little box here.
Sounds. They
There goes the
jump right
cards.
out.
So you've got the male version of the elf, which is pretty I mean, is identical pose. You've got a female barbarian. You've got
That's cool.
a female dwarf and a female wizard, and then you got Sir Ragnar,
Ragnar.
barefoot and in ragged clothes and holding a torch for you. So you rescue Sir Ragnar in one of the early quests, and then you've got stats for him, I guess, if you want to.
That's cool.
Is there a 5th card in there for him, or is it just those 4?
Nah, he doesn't get a card. He just limps along.
Yeah, so you can put Sir Ragnar to follow the party around after you rescue him.
Those are cool. So that's the Witch Lord.
So you've got the Witch
Mentor?
Lord. Yeah, you got Mentor.
Or I guess that's Sark.
Yeah, that is Mentor. Yeah. Before you just used Dread Sorcerer to stand in for Zargon when you finally.
Yeah, I mean,
if
you
ever
use
got
him to stand in for Sir Ragnar, too.
Yeah. So here we've got a separate sculpt where he's got a little more detail. But you got a bard who is, I think, supposed to be a half orc.
That's cool.
That you can use as a hero. You got a warlock. It looks like a halfling. Yeah. Or is she barefoot? Is she a halfling or a gnome?
He looks like the wizard from the old Dungeon Master guide.
Yeah. Then you got a druid hero. What does that mean? Here's the bard.
That's cool.
Here's
His hat is
druid.
off the chain.
yeah.
How do I compare thee to a Daka? For thou art loudly and more bold.
And then you got this little. Yeah, I would say based on her height, that's supposed to be a gnome or a halfling for the warlock. Let's look at these. Let's see what these guys do. The bard, 2 attack dice, 2 defense dice, starting points. I'm sure we'd have to read through the special rules for them. You're wearing non-metal. Let's see. You prefer to stay light on your feet, so when you're wearing non-metal armor and not carrying shield, you get an extra defense die.
Extra bonus.
I mean, obviously, these aren't going to go into the kind of detail you would get in a role-playing game. But
That's
they
why we're
don't need
playing
to.
HeroQuest.
the warlock, magical artillerist who has bonded with a sinister creature, allowing you to assume its wing form.
You have a miniature for that? Is that it?
I think that's a bonus gargoyle.
Bonus gargoyle.
Yeah. Let your allies protect you while you deal damage from a heart. Counts as a wizard hero in terms of which weapons, artifacts. So it's just another way to play a wizard. And then a druid, a woodland guardian and healer. Your powerful physical combat while using your shapeshift spell. But you can be weak when your resources are depleted. The druid hero may not wear any metal armor.
Is there a rules packet in there somewhere?
That's why I'm looking if there's in these, maybe in these cards somewhere. Here's a wizard. This is a mentor, but you can play him as a wizard. He's just another way to play the wizard. And then we've got some druids have their own spells here. Here we go. And warlocks. Druids and warlocks have their own spells.
Oh, that solves the problem then.
And bards. Okay.
I just they get their deck or whatever, and that's that. 4 spells, 3 spells.
Yeah, it looks like they get. Now they're all screwed up.
Oh, they have a lot of body points. Or at least everybody but the warlock does.
Okay, there we go. You got 3 druid spells, 3 bard spells, and 3 warlock spells. Thematically, though, I mean, if you're a warlock, I mean, look, demon form, fear, dark wings. So these are a little more creepy witch-like spells, I guess.
What am I supposed to be looking at right here? Demon form.
It's just some kind of thing with eyes all over it.
Okay, that's what I thought. It's like a sandworm or something.
The bard gets a lullaby, which I guess is probably sleep. Inspiring tale. Healing song. Yeah.
And no, what do they call it? Scathing rebuke or whatever.
Vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery.
And then the druid has shapeshift, pixie, conjures with pixie that can restore 2 body points to a hero, so it's a healing spell. And life force, also who's a healing spell. All right, the equipment, we've got a wand, a dagger, and a rapier. So, cool. All right. So that's nice. And then some new.
This is actually way better than recording at the game spot. You know what I mean? And we do that on video.
A dragon spear and the crown of shadows are the artifacts for this bonus.
Dragon spear.
I imagine they go with the quest books for the dragon and the probably one of these.
Isn't that cool? That looks like that drawing that I've kept on my computer for a long time. The orc singing the lullabies and playing his lute.
All right, so what miniatures do we have here in our stretch goals, other than the heroes?
Alt stuff looks like.
We've got an extra gargoyle. We got this dragon, which is perched on a top of a column.
I could fit it in one square without doing that.
Yeah.
That's a Virag?
Yeah.
Named Gargoyle, the one at the front. That's the boss of the first one.
Yep. We've got 2 more goblins with an alternate sculpt. They've got little.
Feral goblins, looks like.
Yeah, they're like Wolverine style claws you can strap onto your forearms.
Female.
Yeah, these are females. We've got 2 orcs, male orcs, armed with mauls.
It's all gender swap.
And then we've got 2 more abominations with a different kind of a. These look. I wonder if these are a little more powerful than the other ones. These have
Tentacles.
different pose, and it looks like they got tentacles all down their back. So.
And the other ones might too. I just didn't notice that.
Look like Vic from Megadeth. Even got sunglasses.
We've got an alternate dread sorcerer, which I'm assuming is going to be a female sculpt. Yeah, I think that she's a little slimmer and curvier.
Very Egyptian. Is that what kind of?
Yeah, she does kind of look like an Egyptian. And then we've got a couple of zombies, and these are female zombies, and they're armed with kukris.
Ooh.
And then 2 mummies that are female mummies.
Don't want to let it go. What are those up there? Skeletons?
2 more skeletons.
Shield skeletons.
They've got big shields and long swords.
The sword goes over the base. It's cool. You don't see
He's
it.
kind of dragging it behind him.
Yeah, you don't see them doing that kind of stuff often. That thing's already put together, you know.
And then 2 more alternate chaos warriors that look. They got He-Man's sword. Sword's like He-Man's sword.
It is. It's the power sword.
Is that what the other ones look like? Or do they have a different
No, they were. They had. You asked.
They had a different pose.
Yeah.
Different helmets.
I don't even think they had swords.
I know they had the same shields, but I think they had different poses and.
Super cool, man. I'm excited about this. I get to play HeroQuest again, man.
A few clarifications on the expansion set. So the 3 quest books, you've got the Spirit Queen's Torment, and for the Spirit Queen's Torment, the setup is you're introduced to Sylvana, an elven sage who is an associate of Mentor, who's normally your quest giver. She says there's news that may bring ruin to the realm. I'm not going to read all this, but basically, you're being sent into a tomb to see what's going on. Again, Zargon and his forces are up to no good. So that's she's sending you into a tomb of this elven sage's former apprentice. Looks like maybe an undead themed quest. The Prophecy of Taylor by Stephen Baker. That first one was by Teos Abadia. Hope I'm saying that right. The Prophecy of Taylor is Mentor sending you to you in a previous quest early on, you'd recovered a talisman in one of the previous quests. He's been researching it, and he's sending you to explore a tower. It's not real clear from these brief summaries. If I read the whole quest book, I'm sure it would jump out as to who the Spirit Queen is and who Taylor is. They're not really, those characters not mentioned by name on the first page that summarizes where you're going. And same with the Crypt of the Perpetual Darkness by Joe Manganiello. You have to read through a lot of this to. It says your hometown is being occupied by the forces of Zargon. This does mention that a gnome shows up. It shows you a map he came into possession of to help you find a legendary artifact, probably so you can slay the dragon, I'm assuming. So it may be that this bard character is meant to be a gnome and not a halfling. What you've got, I'm going to... Anybody who's familiar with HeroQuest, and probably it's what sparked interest in this. Was familiar with some of these original heroes, but so you've got a druid. Looks to be a human being, but her hair is. Let's see if I can get a clear shot of her ear. It's not pointed, so I think this is supposed to be a human. She's got a staff, and she's wearing a just kind of some primitive looking, her skirts made out of large fern leaves, and looks like she probably lives in the wilderness or jungle, and has got a wooden staff. You can tell that these three characters, the druid, the bard, and the warlock, are really D&D inspired. The druid has 3 spells. They each have 3 spells, but which is fewer than the other spellcasting heroes. But each one of the spells for each of them recharges. So the druid has a life force, which is a healing spell. A pixie, where you summon a pixie. The pixie restores 2 body parts to 1 hero, but also reveals any traps or secret doors in the location. And then shapeshift, where you shapeshift, and then if you get damaged, the spell ends, but you regain the spell if you ever heal your body points, which is effectively your hit points, back up to full. So that spell can be recharged. The warlock, and the druid's starting weapon is a dagger. The warlock is got pointed ears, so I guess it depends on, again, it's kind of ambiguous as to whether this is actually a gnome or a halfling. I think it's probably a halfling. But the warlock's starting weapon is a wand, which looks like just a shard of crystal. Wand gives you 2 attack dice against any monster you can see. It can be used only by the warlock. So it has a special weapon. The artwork and the miniature depicts a shorter, pointy-eared figure in a kind of a Romani style, kind of flowing dress with a flowing skirt and jewelry, bracelets. And one hand is a little bit on the sculpt, kind of deformed. I think it's enlarged and deformed. I think it's supposed to depict her casting a spell, or maybe one of these transformations. And then she's got her wand in the offhand, and has kind of a impish, mischievous grin. So she's got the wand, and then her 3 spells are fear, which makes monsters afraid. Dark Wings, which casts a spell on an enemy's turn after you've suffered, reduce that damage to 0, and move instantly to an unoccupied square. So it basically, you get to fly across the room. And then Demon Form. The warlock ignores pit traps and may roll 1 extra combat die each time they attack until the spell is broken. The spell is broken when they suffer damage, but they regain this spell when they reduce a monster to 0. So you kill a monster, you get this demon form back. So kind of sticks with that creepy warlock theme that you get in D&D, where even for a magic user, they're really kind of spooky and unnerving to be around. The bard is clearly meant to be, I think, a half-orc. Because he's not quite as brutish looking as the orc sculpts, and he's dressed more or less like a pirate. He's even kind of got the Captain Morgan. Well, he's got one leg propped up on a little treasure chest, but he's got his left hand is planted on his chest, and his right hand, his arm is kind of outstretched and kind of pointing down, like someone in center stage would be when they're singing in a musical. But he's wearing trousers and bell-top boots and a vest, and he's got a rapier, and he's got a lute strapped across his back, and he's got a I don't know if it's a pirate hat. It looks more like one of the 3 Musketeers hats with an ostrich feather plume on the side. And actually, in the picture of him on his card, though, he's got an anchor tattoo on one of his upper arm. So maybe he is also supposed to be kind of a pirate. So yeah, but in the picture of him that's in color, he's got a tentacle kind of in the background. Maybe that's supposed to be like a kraken or something. Maybe he is supposed to be a pirate as well as a bard. But he's got his 3 spells are Inspiring Tales, to boost another hero, Lullaby, put enemies to sleep, Healing Song, restores hit points, and let's see, which one of these recharges? You regain the Inspiring Tale when a hero you can see other than yourself rolls defense and gets 2 white shields. So, again, kind of sticking with the Bard's theme of buffing employees. And then the expansion comes with this card for a Rapier, which is the Bard's starting weapon, to attack dice and can be used to attack diagonally, which is something most weapons cannot do. So you got kind of this swashbuckling Bard figure here, which is pretty cool. So those are the expansion contests. Also, you've got, as I mentioned in there, we mentioned there's a wizard card that's got Mentor on it, and a Mentor figure, a red Mentor figure, where he's got these long flowing robes. He's got his book of magic lore, big beard with braided mustaches. But that just gives you the option. There's nothing special about him other than it's just Mentor's figure. You use all the other rules for playing a wizard like you would with the core miniatures. And then the Witch Lord miniature has got these long flowing robes and a horned helmet. Obviously is an undead. He's white like the other undead are cast in. Even though on the box art his robes are colored. I think they're red. And then he's got this staff that has a bat, kind of stylized bat on top. So I just wanted to clarify kind of the contents that maybe weren't clear from our descriptions in the unboxing on the expansion contents. Anyway, that is everything I think for this new HeroQuest. Like I said, we've said all along, it's not a new game. It's a game. It's the same rule. I mean, it's new in the sense that you've got 3 new types of heroes you can play through the expansion if you got the expansion. But it's not a completely. They haven't changed the core rules, particularly if you just have the core box set. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to playing this. Dave asked me when we finished recording if I was gonna try to paint these miniatures, and I thought, I don't know if I want to or not. I would love to have a complete second set of all of these to paint, but I kind of like the fact, I might paint the heroes, but I kind of like the fact that you can kind of tell something about the monster by the color of the resin that it's been cast in. Or I say cast, I imagine these may have been, I don't know if these were cast or if they were 3D printed, but I kind of like that, so I don't want to, But then again, they're such cool minis, and they're just they're kind of begging to be fleshed out and colored. So I'll have to think long and hard about what I want to do with that. Anyway, if you've listened this long, thank you. I know this is a pretty long episode, and I'm bounced back and forth between 2 different sessions of recording here. So I want to thank Dave and Jerry for participating in the unboxing. Be sure to check out ironseer.com, Dave's website, and check out the Bard's video on why HeroQuest is so great. Also, you can find the commercials for HeroQuest are pretty cool. There's an American version and a UK version, so it's virtually the same script with the same narration, and the 2 boys playing the game have the same lines. A lot of people like to laugh at the way the British kid says broadsword. I actually think that the 2 boys, even though they're different boys in the British commercial, are not British. I think they may be American, and they've been coached on how to do something akin to a British accent. But I know the UK commercial, Christopher Lee is the narrator who describes the game as they're playing. So it's worth it just to hear the late, great Christopher Lee, who, man, is there anything that guy didn't do? He's one of the most interesting and amazing human beings to ever live. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody take care out there, and thanks for listening.
And that's why HeroQuest is so great.
And that's it for this episode of The Arcane Alienist. I want to thank Dave Bone for the cover art that I use for the episodes. Check out ironseer.com. And the music is Come and Get It by Scott Holmes Music. Thank you for listening. Give me a call sometime through the Anchor app or at the Anchor website. And I'll be back in the future with another episode.